Hey, how's it going? Dara is my name and you're very welcome to this YouTube channel. This is not very used, so don't expect this video to be of fantastic quality, but sure, let's go. Today we're going to be looking at Home Assistant, and specifically in relation to the accessibility of Home Assistant to people like myself who cannot see. How do I use Home Assistant? Therefore, I use a thing called a screen reader. And a screen reader basically converts the highlighted parts of the screen into synthesized speech or braille. Not going to get into that all that much. If you want to find out more, go Google it. Right, so I put out a post a while ago, probably a month or two ago, and you can see it on the screen there. And it reported an issue with using Home Assistant with an iOS device and how it wasn't very usable because you couldn't click on the buttons, you couldn't tap on the buttons. And that kind of went into a new topic, and it was merged with this one here. I scroll to the top, and that's all good. But I've highlighted a piece of text there, and it said that as people who can't see, this is a showstopper, we can't use Home Assistant. And that got me thinking, that's not quite fair, because Home Assistant is a really accessible piece of software. So much so that I wrote to the developer, probably mid to late last year, saying, hey, listen, what you're doing here is class, keep it up, it's really good stuff. Because on a Windows device, using Home Assistant is actually really accessible, and I'm just thrilled about that because I've done a little bit with it in my home here. I decided to go and create a video and explain a little bit about how I use a Home Assistant. Now, for this demonstration, I'm going to let you hear my screen reader, but I'm not going to slow down my screen reader because I want to show you that I listen to this at a particularly high speed so that my efficiency is high. When I'm using it, I don't have to wait for 5-10 seconds for stuff to read out. It reads out really quickly. Therefore, if you're not used to listening to a synthesized speech engine all day, this is going to sound like crap to you, but you'll get used to it. So let's go to my Home Assistant instance, and there's my dashboard. Nothing particularly crazy on that. It's just enough to let people see, let my wife see and my children see at a glance what's happening in the house, what lights are on, what lights are off, and all that kind of stuff. Let's go to the first thing, the navigation on the left. Here's what I love about this. It's in a list view or list box, and I can just arrow up and down that. It's very handy. I go to say, I'm going to go to developer tools. Okay. And on this page first, I know because from practice using this, we have our entities. I'm going to filter the entities to, what will I pick? I'm going to pick the shed motion sensor. No, will I say motion? What's it called? I forget what it's called actually. I suppose this is a good test, isn't it? Oh, okay, so this one there. Binary sensor dot shed. Okay. So there you go, I can read those very easily. I'm just reading through the table left to right. The great thing with this as well though, let's say I want to get more information here. So let's say I want to see the one in the landing, right? Just going to type landing into that. I know there's an edit drop down box there. So there you go, I found the same binary sensor. So I can see it was last changed at 8:20 p.m. And yeah, that's all good. So you can see I can navigate around that very easily. I can also go and I can go here and start using templates. You can see I have a template that I was testing out there earlier. I love that it keeps it there so that when you go back a few days later you can go and modify the template that you're working on, but equally you can go back to the demo template and see what that was doing. I think that's a really nice touch. Nothing to do with accessibility, it's just something I like about Home Assistant. Let's go to configuration. And in configuration I can do lots of things here. I can go to the devices, bring my exist, and see all my devices, or I can go to entities and see all my entities. Of course, I can also press this. I love this quick filter for entities. So I could say, I want to see something about one of the living room lights, say. Is it lamp? There we go. And then shows me that entity. I think that's a really nice touch. Let's go back here to configuration, automations. See, I want to get that one actually. See, speak when the front door is left open. Here I can edit the automation. See, I'm just jumping through those action types. I could also, of course, go into the menu here, edit in YAML, and I can go and look through that YAML. I'm deliberately doing this fast in a way because I want to show you that this is actually really efficient to use when I want to do something. And you can see there, I've created a few automations. A few of them, actually one has only one so far that I haven't been able to get working, and that's because I haven't bothered all that much to do it. Of course I can search through my entities so I could see specific entities, not entities, automations relating to the kitchen. I have my helpers here. Scripts as well. So I'll go to that kitchen one. Actually, I'll go to the hall one, because the hall one's cool. I'll go to edit script there. So they... I like to personally look at the YML when I'm reading back over an automation. And that's mainly because it's just less key presses. But I can, of course, also edit in Visual Editor, and I can very happily read it through here too. See there, so I can read this quite easily as well, but I just choose not to. I choose to generally read it in the YML. Again, nothing to do with accessibility, just my personal choice. What else can I show you here? Everything just works really as I expect it to. So when I want to go and edit a device, for example, let's go and edit that. I'll find the device. Let's say middle. So light. And there you go, I'm in the middle light. I can edit settings. If I want to change the room, I could say, or I could say all. You know, so, or I could say nothing and just arrow through it. Let's get that. So I hope this is a very, very brief outline and shows you that the accessibility of Home Assistant on PC is really, really good. And if it's that good on iOS, I'll be a very, very happy person. But I haven't done a massive amount with Home Assistant. Well, I've done it quite a bit. I have lights turning on when they need to turn on. I have the speaker saying things when doors are left open. The lights turning on in the morning when the alarm on my iPhone or my wife's iPhone is set. That, you know, if it's at a certain time, I know based on logic in the automation, this is a school morning, therefore turn on the main bedroom light 5 minutes before the children's alarm bedside light goes on, and slowly increase the brightness of the children's rooms and do stuff like that in the morning before school. So I've done quite a bit, but I'm lacking in things like automated roller blinds, window blinds, door locks. Now, if somebody sees this from any of those lovely companies and wants to sponsor one of those, I'll happily do something and record a video on that too. But I doubt I'll be that lucky. Anyway, thank you for watching this, and I hope it has been informative and somewhat enjoyable.